Relax, take a deep breath in, and let it out slowly. Feel your body soften into the place where you rest. The bed, the pillow, the blanket wrapping around you like a gentle cocoon. The day has ended now. All the worries, the noise, the lists of things to do. You can set them aside. They don't belong here. This moment is only for you. This moment is for calm, for peace, for drifting into a dream. Notice the air around you, how it's quiet, how it's still. Imagine a soft breeze moving through an ancient forest. You can almost hear the rustle of leaves, the distant trickle of water over smooth stones, the faint crackle of firewood as an inn's hearth burns low and steady. Let your mind picture it. An old medieval inn at the edge of a cobbled road. Outside, the night is cool, the moon glowing silver through the clouds. Inside, warmth waits for you. The heavy wooden door creaks open, and the scent of roasting bread and spiced cider drifts into the air. The chatter of villagers hums in the background, their voices soft like a lullaby of human presence. Tankards clink, laughter rises and falls, but it's never harsh. It's cozy, safe, like a blanket of sound wrapping gently around you. And tonight, something special happens. The inn's door opens again. A hush falls over the room, not complete silence, but a curious quiet. Through the doorway steps a figure cloaked in travel's dust, a lute slung across their shoulder. The strings shimmer as they catch the firelight. A bard has arrived. With slow, deliberate steps, the bard makes their way to the fire. Their boots are worn, their cloak patched from the road, yet their presence is magnetic. The way they smile, the way their eyes shine with stories untold. The innkeeper nods, gestures to a stool by the hearth, and the bard lowers themselves onto it. They place the lute across their lap, fingers brushing the strings in a feather-light strum. The sound is soft, gentle, like a lullaby carried on the wind. The room listens. Even the crackling fire seems to lean in closer, and in that moment, the bard's voice begins to flow. Smooth, low, steady, like the river carrying moonlight upon its waves. Our story tonight, the bard murmurs, begins in a kingdom long ago. A place where dragons soared in hidden valleys, and kings ruled with crowns that weighed heavy upon their brows. The strumming deepens, weaving a melody behind the words. The sound is not just music. It's a cradle for the mind, rocking it gently into comfort. The bard tells of a castle high upon a mountain, its walls gleaming with banners, its halls echoing with footsteps of knights and queens. They speak of a king who carried both wisdom and weariness, and of the people who dreamed beneath his reign. The room at the inn fades away. You feel yourself slipping into the story, as though you are there, walking the castle halls. You hear the whispers of courtiers, the shuffle of armor, the distant song of birds flying beyond the stone walls. The bard's tale meanders like a calm river, unhurried. Every detail is painted softly. The way the sunlight falls across the king's throne, the way the wind carries the scent of pine wood from the valley below, the way the banners ripple as if sighing into the sky. Outside the inn's walls, the night deepens. The stars peek between the clouds, and the villagers' heads begin to nod as drowsiness takes them. But the bard continues, steady and sure, weaving not just a tale, but a dream. And you feel your eyelids grow heavier. Every word drifts into your mind like a feather. Every note of the lute curls around your thoughts like a warm mist. The bard smiles, voice dropping even lower now, softer, slower. Yes, they say, the king carried burdens unseen, for even crowns cast shadows, and even the bravest knights knew fear. But within those shadows, there was always light waiting to be found. The fire crackles, the lute hums, the bard's story flows on, and you are floating in the warmth of it all. The bard strums again, a slower chord this time. The sound spreads like ripples across a still pond, reaching every corner of the inn. The villagers lean closer, their mugs half forgotten, their eyes heavy but shining. You too lean inward, your mind surrendering to the story. Our tale, the bard says, winds beyond the castle walls, into the wide, untamed land that breathes beneath the stars. And so the picture shifts. You see the kingdom's fields, rolling like waves of gold beneath the moon. Tall grasses bend in the night breeze, whispering secrets to anyone willing to listen. The crickets hum, owls stir from their perches, and somewhere far away, a river sings against the stones. The bard paints this all slowly, carefully, so that each sound and sight feels alive. You can almost feel the grass brush against your fingertips. You can almost smell the damp earth and pine. Beyond the fields, the bard whispers, "There lies a mountain. Its peak is hidden by clouds, its sides carved by time and storms. Few dare climb it, for the villagers speak of something ancient that sleeps within its heart. Dragons," the bard breathes, their fingers brushing the lute strings like the flutter of wings. They are not merely beasts of fire, but keepers of secrets, guardians of wisdom too deep for men. The fire pops. The inn seems to hold its breath. The bard's eyes glow as the story carries on. They tell of a young traveler, a wanderer not unlike themselves, who once dared to climb that mountain. The traveler's boots were worn, their pack light, their heart heavy with questions the world had never answered. Step by step, the traveler climbed. Step by step, you climb with them. The path is narrow, stones loose beneath your feet. A cold wind sweeps across the cliffs, carrying with it the scent of snow and smoke. Yet above all, there is silence. A vast, endless silence, as though the world itself is waiting. The bard's voice drops even softer, coaxing you into the rhythm of the climb. One breath in, one breath out. The mountain listened to every step. Your own breathing seems to match it. Slow, calm, steady. At last, the traveler reached a cave. Its mouth yawned like the throat of the earth itself. From within came a glow, faint, pulsing, alive. The traveler stepped closer, each footfall echoing like a drumbeat of fate. And there, within the shadows, the dragon waited. But not as the stories had said. No beast of terror, no monster of greed. Instead, a creature of immense beauty, scales shimmering like starlight, eyes deep as the oldest seas. Its breath moved like a tide, warm and steady, washing over the cave like a lullaby. The bard lets the lute sing here, long, flowing notes, drawn out so slow they feel like the very breathing of the dragon itself. The villagers sigh, some half asleep already. You feel it too, your body sinking deeper into stillness. The dragon spoke, the bard says, not with words, but with silence. A silence that filled the traveler's chest, that answered questions they had never dared voice aloud. And though no words were exchanged, the traveler understood that life, like the mountain, is climbed step by step, that even the heaviest burdens grow lighter with each breath. That fire, even the fiercest, can be a warmth instead of a fear. The bard pauses, lets the meaning sink in. The lute hums a soft, minor chord, then resolves into something gentle and sweet. The traveler, they whisper, bowed low to the dragon, not in fear, but in gratitude. And when they descended the mountain, they carried no gold, no jewels, only peace. The fire in the inn crackles once more, drawing you back. The bard's story lingers in the air, weaving between the rafters like smoke. You feel your shoulders soften, your hands grow warm, your mind drifts between the inn and the mountain, between the bard's smile and the dragon's glowing eyes. And the bard, ever gentle, plays on. Their voice quiets, wrapping the story like a blanket. Yes, even in the darkest caves, there are lights waiting to be found. Sometimes they burn like fire, and sometimes like the gentlest stars. The inn sighs with comfort, sleep pulls stronger now. And still, the bard strums, still, the story flows. The bard's hand rests for a moment upon the strings. A hush, a pause, a silence so gentle it feels alive. The villagers lean back, their bodies growing heavy, their eyes fluttering closed one by one. The bard takes a slow breath and begins again. Far away, they whisper, beyond the mountains where dragons sleep, there lay a kingdom of golden spires, ruled by a king who dreamed too deeply. The lute hums, soft, tender, as though echoing the king's thoughts. This king, the bard continues, was no tyrant, no fool. He carried wisdom in his crown and kindness in his heart. Yet, in the quiet of night, when all the halls were still, the king would close his eyes and drift into dreams so vivid they felt more real than waking life. The end seems to shift. You feel yourself slipping into the king's dream, as though the bard's voice has become the very fabric of sleep itself. The king dreamed of walking through meadows where flowers glowed like lanterns. He dreamed of rivers that carried songs upon their waves. He dreamed of skies where stars hung low, close enough to touch, close enough to whisper secrets into his ear. But the dreams were not always kind. Sometimes the meadows turned to forests, dark, endless, filled with shadows that stretched too far. Sometimes the rivers carried voices instead of songs, voices of the forgotten, voices heavy with longing. Sometimes the stars burned too close, too bright, until the king's heart ached from their weight. The bard plays a deeper chord now, slow, resonant, like the pulse of the earth itself. The king would wake with tears upon his face. The bard murmurs, not from sorrow alone, but from the sheer beauty of what he had seen, and from the ache of knowing it was only a dream. The bard leans closer to the fire, voice lower now, as if confiding a secret meant only for you. And so, the king sent for a bard, much like me, someone who could listen to his dreams and weave them into songs. For he feared, perhaps, that the dreams were not his alone, but messages sent from realms beyond. The lute strings shimmer again, higher, lighter, like tiny bells. The bard describes how the minstrel would sit at the king's bedside, night after night. The king would speak of meadows, of rivers, of stars, to near. And the bard would listen, would hum, would catch each fragment and turn it into melody. And slowly, the king began to understand. The meadows that glowed, they were his people's joy, fleeting yet bright. The rivers that sang, they were the voices of ancestors, guiding him with love. The stars that weighed heavy, they were the burdens of rule, pressing upon his chest, yet also lighting the path ahead. The bard pauses, letting the meaning flow like warmth from the fire. Yes, they whisper, even kings must dream, for dreams are the teachers no counsel can replace. The villagers shift in their seats, but most are half asleep now, lulled by the rhythm. And you feel your body sink deeper, your breathing slower, as if you, too, are caught in the king's dream. The bard strums one final, lingering chord, letting it fade like starlight. The king, they say, kept his crown, he kept his throne, but more than that, he kept the dreams. For within them, he found not only fear, not only sorrow, but a gentleness, a reminder that even rulers are but children of the night sky, forever learning, forever held. The firewood shifts, a log collapses softly, sparks dancing upward like tiny stars. The bard's eyes gleam in the glow, their voices softer still, almost a lullaby. And so, the king slept, and so, the bard sang, and the kingdom lived, carried not only by gold and stone, but by the quiet lessons of dreams. The inn is almost silent now, only the crackle of the fire, only the strum of the lute, only the whisper of a voice that feels more and more like your own inner thoughts. And you drift with it, caught between story and slumber. The bard's fingers drift gently across the strings, barely touching, as if the lute itself has grown drowsy. The notes float upward like smoke, curling lazily before vanishing into the beams of the inn. Beyond the king's castle, the bard whispers, there lies a forest, a place where the world slows, where even time itself forgets to hurry. You can almost feel it now. The forest unfolds in your mind, a cathedral of trees rising high above, their branches knitting together into a roof of leaves. Moonlight filters through, not harsh, but soft and silver, falling in patches upon mossy ground. The air is cool, touched by dew, carrying the scent of pine and wildflowers. Somewhere, an owl calls. Somewhere, a brook laughs quietly to itself, water tumbling over hidden stones. The bard strums, once, twice, low, echoing, like the forest's heartbeat. This, they say, is the place where dreams go when they are not ready to fade. Here, every path is a lullaby, every branch a cradle for resting thoughts. You see it now, the forest alive with whispers. The leaves rustle as though telling secrets. The grass bends as though bowing in greeting. Even the shadows feel kind, wrapping gently around you like a cloak. The bard's voice is steady, flowing slow as honey. In that forest, they murmur, walked a child who dreamed of stars. They would slip away from the village each night, bare feet brushing against the earth, and wander beneath the trees. The villagers called it folly. But the child knew the forest held something no words could name. The child walked softly, listening. They heard the hum of roots deep beneath the ground, the song of crickets weaving with the brook, the hush of wings as a night bird glided overhead, and then a clearing. The bard lets the lute sigh into a bright chord, airy and light, like a door opening. In the clearing, the child looked up and saw the stars as if for the first time, not tiny sparks lost in the distance, but vast, close, alive. They pulsed like lanterns, each one breathing, each one singing a note of a grand, endless song. The bard smiles faintly, as if they too have stood in that clearing. The stars, they whisper, were not silent. They sang of beginnings, of journeys, of endings too far away to fear. And the child listened and understood. The villagers, the bard explains, never believed the child. They laughed, shook their heads, and said stars were too far, too cold, too silent. But the child knew otherwise, for in their heart, the song lingered, a melody that hummed even in daylight, even when chores filled their hands. The bard strums again, this time so softly it feels like a breath, and that child grew. They murmur into someone who carried stars within them, a dreamer, a wanderer, a listener of songs others could not hear. And perhaps, just perhaps, it is their song you hear now, echoing through these strings. The inn is nearly silent, the fire low, the villagers lost to sleep. Only you remain awake enough to notice the bard's eyes, the way they glimmer as though reflecting starlight. Their voice grows softer still, like velvet brushing against your mind. The forest remains, they say. It waits for any soul willing to walk slowly, breathe deeply, and listen. For not all songs are sung with words. Some are carried in leaves, in rivers, in the hush between heartbeats. And those songs are the ones that last. The lute sighs again, a lullaby stretched thin and sweet. You feel the weight of your body melting further, your breath falling into rhythm with the forest's hush. The stars above the clearing shimmer in your thoughts, steady and eternal, pulling you gently toward dreams. The bard leans closer to the fire, their shadow stretching long across the inn's floor. And with a smile that feels meant only for you, they whisper, "So sleep now, child of stars. Sleep, and let the forest guard you. Sleep, and let the song of the sky carry you home." The strings fade into silence. The fire flickers low, and all that remains is the soft hum of the story, circling you like a lullaby too ancient to ever fade. The bard lets the silence linger for a moment, a silence so soft it almost feels like music itself. The firelight flickers across their face, the glow painting them in gold and shadow. Then, the lute breathes again, a single note, low, resonant, carrying weight like the earth's heartbeat. Far beyond the forest, the bard whispers, "There lies a valley, hidden from all but the bravest wanderers. Few find it, for its entrance is veiled by mists, and its paths twist like rivers. But those who arrive there, they discover something the world has nearly forgotten." The notes deepen, slow, steady. They discover the Valley of Dragons. You see it now, rising in your mind as though you are walking there yourself. The valley stretches wide, green and silver in the moonlight. Waterfalls spill down from cliffs, their voices merging into a constant lullaby. Mist curls above the grass, catching the light of hidden fireflies, glowing like lanterns left by unseen hands. And there, resting among the stones and streams, lie the dragons, not raging beasts, not monsters of nightmare, but vast and graceful beings. Their scales shimmer with colors too soft to name. Twilight blue, ember gold, silver like morning frost. Their eyes are ancient, yet kind, glowing as though lit by inner suns. The bard's voice slows to match the valley's breath. The dragons, they say, do not guard treasure of gold or crowns of kings. No, they guard something far more delicate. They guard the dreams of humankind. The lute thrums, low and endless, as though echoing the dragon's breathing. When a child drifts into slumber, the bard continues. Their dreams travel like sparks on the wind, carried through night skies, until they find the valley. There, the dragons gather them, cradling each dream in their claws, in their wings, in their glowing hearts. They keep them safe until dawn. And then, gently, they return them, placing the dream back into the sleeper's soul. You imagine it. Dragons curled around luminous spheres of light, each one a dream, glowing softly. A dragon exhales, and a dream shimmers brighter. Another lowers its great head, brushing a dream with its snout, making it steadier, calmer, more peaceful. The bard leans close, voice barely more than a whisper. And sometimes, when a dream is too heavy, too dark, the dragons take it into themselves. They carry the sorrow, the fear, the burden, and they breathe it out into the mist, where it dissolves and fades. That is why you sometimes wake lighter than before, because a dragon has carried the weight for you. The fire pops softly, as though agreeing. The lute sings a high note, delicate, almost a lullaby unto itself. The bard smiles faintly. Not all remember the dragons. Many grow old and call dreams foolish things. But the valley remains, and the guardians remain, watching, tending, caring, even for those who no longer believe. The inn is silent. The villagers are lost to sleep. The bard seems to speak only to you now, their words drifting directly into your chest. Perhaps, they murmur, you have felt it too. The nights when you wake and cannot remember why your heart feels lighter, why your sorrow has dimmed. That is the touch of the valley, the kindness of dragons unseen. The lute hums again, a slow rocking rhythm, like being cradled. The bard's eyes close as they play, voice melting into the music. Tonight, as you drift into slumber, know this, your dreams will find their way. They will be gathered, guarded, held close in wings of fire and starlight. You need not fear their weight, for the dragons wait, as they always have, to carry you through the night. The fire sighs, a log falling into glowing embers. The sound blends with the lute, with the bard's voice, with the rhythm of your own breathing, and you feel your heart ease, your thoughts soften, as though a great dragon has already lifted them from you, letting you sink, weightless, into rest. The bard lets the last note fade until it is nothing but memory. Then, with a breath slow and steady, their fingers find a new tune. This one is lighter, softer, like footsteps along an empty road under moonlight. Ah, they murmur, but not all journeys end in valleys or castles. Many paths wind onward, stretching across the earth like threads in a tapestry. And along those paths, travelers leave behind more than footprints. They leave songs, whispers, pieces of themselves. The lute hums like the sound of boots brushing stone. You can almost see it. An ancient road winding across hills, cobbled in places, dirt in others, glimmering faintly with dew. The night air is cool, scented with wild herbs and smoke from distant hearths. As the bard speaks, the inn around you seems to blur. You find yourself walking this road, guided by their voice. Long ago, they continue, there were inns scattered along the kingdom's waysides, places small and humble, built of timber and stone, their windows glowing with firelight. Travelers would stop there for bread, for cider, for a bed beside the hearth. But more than food and rest, they came for stories. The lute rises, bright and hopeful. Each inn was like a lantern in the dark, not only for the weary, but for the lonely. For when strangers shared a table, when they shared tales of storms survived or loves lost, the road itself grew lighter. You imagine those old inns, wooden beams darkened with smoke, benches worn smooth by countless guests, the smell of stew simmering in iron pots, the flicker of candles along shelves lined with mugs, and above all, the sound of voices, laughter, sorrow, secrets, songs. The bard leans forward, voice dipping lower, more intimate. Not all those inns remain. Some have fallen to ruin, their stones scattered, their hearths cold. Yet their songs linger. If you listen carefully, when you pass an empty crossroad or a broken wall hidden in ivy, you may hear them. Soft echoes of voices long gone, like lullabies the road itself remembers. The lute drums gently, like a heartbeat under the earth. The bard tells of one such in The Sparrow's Rest, a place where merchants, hunters, pilgrims, and bards alike once gathered. By day it was filled with chatter, but at night, when the fire burned low, the innkeeper would ask for quiet, and a traveler would sing. Some sang of home, some sang of battles, some sang of dreams they carried like lanterns against the dark, and always, the others listened. And for that night, they belonged not to different roads, but to the same hearth, the same song. The bard sighs, almost wistfully. Those nights were gentle. Those nights remind us that though journeys may scatter us across the world, the act of listening brings us together again. The lute shifts into a softer rhythm, steady, swaying, as though rocking you in time with a wagon rolling along the road. Even now, they whisper, the road remembers. Every sigh of wind across the stones, every echo of hoofbeats, every rustle of grass by the ditches. It carries traces of those who walked before. If you close your eyes, you may feel it, their presence, their warmth, their lullabies mingling with your own. You close your eyes, just for a moment, you imagine it. The road beneath you hums like a song, ancient and endless, and it carries you onward, without effort. The bard smiles faintly, their gaze soft, their tone like silk. So rest easy, traveler, for you do not walk alone. The road has known countless feet, countless hearts, countless dreams, and tonight, it carries you gently, rocking you toward sleep. The fire sighs once more. The villagers are gone to dreams, and the bard's voice seems to grow even slower, even softer, as though the road itself is singing you into slumber. The bard lifts their gaze, as though listening to something far beyond the inn's walls. Their fingers move across the strings again, and this time the melody is fluid, rolling, rising and falling like tides. Ah, they murmur softly, roads are not the only ones to carry songs. The sea, oh the sea, has always been a keeper of lullabies. The lute sings brighter now, playful, then heavy, then light again, never still, just as the ocean never rests. The bard's words flow smooth as water. Far to the west, where cliffs fall into endless blue, there are harbors where sailors tell stories. They say the sea does not simply move, it remembers. Every wave that touches the shore carries the voices of those who once crossed it. Every tide hums with the rhythm of ships long gone. You see it now, the moon above an endless sea, silver rippling across dark waters. The air is filled with salt and mist, cool and alive. You hear the waves, each one a sigh, a hush, a breath of something older than time. The bard leans closer to the fire, voice low and steady. Sailors, weary from storms, would lie upon their decks at night, and as the stars shimmered above, they swore the sea itself sang to them. It sang of journeys yet to come. It sang of harbors waiting with light in their windows. It sang of safe passage home. The lute falls into a slow rocking rhythm, like the gentle sway of a ship on calm waters. But it also sang of those who did not return. The bard whispers, for the sea is tender, but it is also vast. It cradles, yes, but it keeps as well. And so the waves hold the lullabies of both the living and the lost, carrying them onward forever. You feel it now, the ocean breathing beneath you, as if you are lying on the deck of a quiet ship. The stars above, the waves below, rocking you with a patience older than stone. The bard's eyes soften, reflecting the firelight like lanterns at sea. One tale speaks of a sailor, they continue, who carried a small wooden flute. Each night, he would play as he gazed across the horizon, the tune simple, tender. The others listened, lulled by its sweetness, their fears easing like knots undone. And when storms came, when thunder split the sky and waves roared higher than masts, they swore it was that flute's song that carried them through. The lute plays the suggestion of that melody now. A high, delicate line that drifts through the air like mist. But one night, the bard murmurs, the storm was stronger. The sea claimed the ship, as it sometimes does. And when dawn came, no trace remained, save for the tune. For the sailors say, if you listen closely at certain harbors, when the wind catches just so, you may hear that flute, faint, woven into the waves. The fire crackles, warm and gentle. The inn feels smaller now, as though the bard's tale has widened the night itself. The sea remembers, they repeat softly. It keeps not only ships, not only bones, but songs. Songs that rock the restless to sleep, that hush the sorrowful, that carry the weary home. The lute slows again, softer, quieter, until it feels less like music and more like breathing. And so, when you hear the ocean, whether in your dreams or in your waking hours, let it calm you. Let it remind you that countless souls have heard the same song, have rested in the same lullaby. You are never alone upon its waves. The bard's eyes close as they let the final notes drift. The sea fades from your mind, but its song lingers. A hush of waves, a cradle of tides, a promise of rest. And you sink deeper into warmth, as if the sea itself is carrying you into sleep. The bard lets the final wave of music fade, their fingers resting softly on the lute. The inn is quiet now, so quiet that even the fire seems to burn in whispers. Outside, the night deepens. The wind sighs through the shutters, carrying the faint smell of rain on stone. Slowly, the bard leans forward, their voice low, warm, and steady. And so, they murmur, we return, back to the hearth, back to the inn, back to the warmth that waits within these walls. You feel yourself ease into that warmth again, as if the long journey through forests, mountains, and seas has circled back here, to this safe place. The inn surrounds you. The glow of the fire, the weight of wooden beams, the gentle hush of sleep-breathing villagers gathered around. The bard smiles faintly, eyes soft. Stories, they whisper, are like lanterns, each one lit by another's hand, carried along the road, set upon a windowsill, left burning for those who follow. We have wandered tonight, through castles where kings dream, through forests where stars sing, through valleys guarded by dragons, through roads that hum with voices of old, through seas that cradled the songs of sailors. And all of them bring us here. The lute stirs again, not in melody now, but in gentle chords that rise and fall like a breath. The bard's tone grows slower, softer, like velvet wrapping around you. The truth, dear listeners, is simple. No matter where the road bends, no matter what dreams carry you away, there is always a hearth waiting, always a song to lead you home, always a story to ease the night into sleep. They pause, letting the words settle like embers sinking deeper into ash. You need not carry the day's burdens now. They continue. Set them down by the fire. Let the warmth hold them. Let the night carry them away. For this moment belongs only to stillness, to peace, to the gentle tide of slumber calling you softly. The lute hums again, slow, tender, hypnotic. The bard lowers their head, almost as though they are speaking a lullaby directly into your ear. Breathe deeply. Feel the air fill you, then leave you. Imagine the forest's hush, the mountains' silence, the valleys' glow, the sea's rocking waves. Each one has given you a gift tonight. Each one has left its song within your chest. You need only listen and rest. The villagers are all asleep now, some with heads bowed upon their arms, some leaning against the wall, smiles still on their faces. The bard watches them fondly, then looks back at you, their eyes warm as embers. Yes, they whisper, rest now, for even as you close your eyes, the story continues. The dragons keep their vigil, the stars sing their song, the sea hums its endless lullaby, and their voice lowers to the softest hum. I will be here, strumming the strings, until dreams carry you fully. The fire crackles one last time, glowing low. The bard plucks a single note, long and sweet, letting it fade into silence. And then, silence remains. A silence that is not empty, but full of warmth, full of peace. full of the gentle assurance that you are safe, that you are held, that you are free to drift wherever dreams may take you. The bard closes their eyes. The lute rests across their knees. Their voice, one last whisper, curls through the inn like smoke. Sleep well, traveler. Sleep deeply. Sleep until the dawn comes softly, and the world begins anew. For tonight, the story is yours. The fire glows faintly. The inn breathes with the rhythm of rest. The night outside holds you gently. And you drift into dream,